everyone, it's me, Tiffany. Welcome to my channel where I share all things pregnancy, postpartum, and motherhood related. I am a certified birth, postpartum, and bereavement doula, so that means I support women and their families on their journey from conception to postpartum. If you have not had a chance yet, please check out my website. It's sacredarrival.com. You can check out my doula services. You can check out my childbirth education courses. You can also check out my blogs. So y'all, it's time for this week's doula review. And this week we are going to be reviewing a good movie, a classic movie. We're going to be talking about a movie that hits deep when it comes to parenting, and that is Riding in Cars with Boys, okay? So this movie stars Drew Barrymore, and this isn't your typical coming of age story. It's raw, it's emotional, it's brutally honest about what it's like to become a parent before you're ready. And not only just becoming a parent before you're ready, but becoming a teen parent, all right? It also shows those early choices and how they can shape your life, for a lifetime, all right? So when I first saw this movie, I really wasn't sure what to expect or how I would walk away feeling. But it does make you think a lot about motherhood or parenting, all right? About the sacrifices that parents make, what they carry, and how love can exist even in the middle of resentment. But Riding in Cars with Boys captures that perfectly. So let's set the stage. So we have Beverly Donofrio, who is played by Drew Barrymore. She is a smart, ambitious teenager who dreams of becoming a writer. But with that, she's also a little boy crazy. But I think a lot of teenage girls are, to be honest, especially at 10, 11, 12, 13, maybe they start to kind of get their little crushes and stuff. But so much so that she asked her dad for a bra for Christmas. Like, he thought maybe she wanted a bike or something. She wants a bra so she can show off her boobs, right? Then they're at a party when she's older, and there's this jock. He's like this football star, and she really has a crush on him, and he embarrasses her when she gives him a poem that she wrote. And this leads her to meet Ray, and then she ends up being pregnant at 15, and her entire world changes, all right? Now, Ray is a mess. Even she said she wasn't supposed to end up with him because she had big dreams of moving to New York and following through with her writing dreams. But with being pregnant, suddenly she's not just a teenager, she's a mother. And from that point on, the movie becomes a long, complicated dance between who she wanted to be and who she has to be, okay? So one of the most powerful things about this movie is how real it feels. It doesn't romanticize young motherhood, and as someone who became a mother at 18, I can definitely relate. It shows the exhaustion, the frustration, and the loss of identity that can come when you're still trying to grow up yourself. So Beverly loves her son, Jason, but she also feels trapped. And that conflict is something a lot of parents, even older parents, can relate to. You love your child deeply, but sometimes you miss that version of yourself that you had to leave behind. And sometimes that's a little tough, to deal with. It can be a lot. Now, you have Ray, Jason's father, who's played by Steve Zahn. His immaturity and addiction problems, honey, add another layer of pain and instability, okay? So Beverly ends up doing most of the parenting on her own, and we see how loneliness and resentment creep in. Now again, Ray told her from the jump, even she said she's not supposed to end up with him. Ray told her, like, hey, don't get involved with me. I'm not good for you. But I feel like she was just trying to maybe fill a void or something. Or maybe that womanly thing kicked in where we feel like we can save people. But Lord, Ray was, he was a mess, okay? But I do have to give it to him. Now, when Beverly came to him and told him that she was pregnant, he could have left her high and dry. But he asked her to marry him in a non-traditional way. But with Ray's demons and Beverly carrying the load, we get a raw look at what happens when one parent has to carry everything emotionally, financially, and mentally. I mean, this man left his family, his son, standing outside while he rode off into the sunset on a bike because he spent all the family's money on drugs because he couldn't kick his drug habit. It was so heartbreaking to see, Jason, he ran after his father as he was leaving. And I mean, as a kid, no matter what your parents do, you're going to always love them and you're going to want them to be in your life, okay? And even as you grow older, sometimes you still feel that way. We also get glimpses of Beverly's relationship with her own father, who is played by James Woods. So he's very tough, he's opinionated, but he's still supportive in his own way. That dynamic reminds us how much our upbringing shapes our own parenting, even when we're trying to do things differently. So looking at her dad and how he was with her, I can understand it. So, because most parents, they want what's best for our children, even though we may not present it or it may not show up in the way that we intend. Now, Beverly was hilarious to me at certain times. Like when she got pregnant, it was so funny because her and her best friend, Faye, who was played by the marvelous Brittany Murphy, they got pregnant at the same time. And she was just like, oh, I know that we're going to have girls and they're going to grow up to be just like us. Meanwhile, Faye was bawling because she was not too thrilled because she didn't want them babies to end up nothing like them. But and the day that Beverly gave birth, she was hit with another reality that she was having a boy, and she was not happy, but she had to adjust, okay? Then there's a part where she's questioning whether she really loves Jason or if she had to because she was his mom. And then Jason falls into the pool. And then she realizes she really does love her son. Like she jumps up, she goes to save him, and she says, I'm going to be more responsible. I'm going to take better care of you, okay? As Jason grows up, we start to see the effects of Beverly's struggles through his eyes. There's a heartbreaking realization that he starts to believe that he did ruin his mother's life. And that moment right there is such a real part of parenting that often goes unspoken. Kids absorb more than we think. They sense when we're unhappy, when we're overwhelmed, even when we try to fight it. Like they see everything. When we try to fight it, we try to hide it. They see what's going on. That's one of the hardest truths this movie brings to light, that our emotional battles as parents can leave marks on our children, even when our love for them never fades. I feel like in a way, Jason also had to grow up fast. He was raising his mother because, I mean, she was the kid when she had him. And I see both his guilt for thinking he may have ruined his mother's life because she literally told him that. Like, she made a decision to have weed in the house. Jason told his granddaddy, you know what I'm saying? Because his granddaddy's a police officer. He was just being a kid, okay? And Beverly ended up going to jail. Faye went to jail, and they ended up being separated because of this, because Faye's family put their foot down. It was like, you can't deal with this girl no more, okay? And I also see how much Jason wants his mother not to put her burdens, on him, okay? And he's hiding a relationship that he has because he doesn't know how that's going to affect his mother. And he sees his mother struggles to take responsibility for her actions. So what can we take away from this film as parents or future parents? So number one thing, parenting is messy. There's no such thing as getting it all right. You can love your child deeply and still feel lost sometimes, and that's normal. Number two, our kids feel what we feel. The energy, the words, the tone, it all shapes them, okay? Even when you think it doesn't. And number three, even flawed parents can raise strong, compassionate kids. Despite Beverly's mistakes, Jason grows into an understanding, resilient young man. Their story reminds us that love, even though it's imperfect love, it still has the power to heal, okay? And at the end of the day, riding in cars with boys isn't just about motherhood or teenage mistakes. It's about growth, about learning that being a parent doesn't mean giving up on yourself, but finding a new version of yourself through the struggle. It shows that love doesn't always look perfect, but it's still powerful enough to hold a family together. So what are your thoughts on this movie if you've seen it? And if not, I do suggest you give it a watch. It's a really good movie. I loved it. And I have to shout out Brittany Murphy, or Faye. She stuck through with Beverly through everything. And I think that's a lot of what all of us want. I mean, all of us want somebody who's going to be with us no matter what we do, no matter how bad we mess up, all of that. And Faye was like right there with her, okay? So I just want to get on here, give my little analysis of the movie. And as always, I thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.